Today we will be discussing how to solve multi-step equations, and that involves combining like terms, whether it's on one side of the equation or on both sides of the equation. So I will do 6 examples for you, and you can copy these into your notes. So I will share my screen with you. All right, there we go. All right, so the thing that we need to remember is that we want to combine like terms on each side. Okay. Combine like terms on each side. So let's look at this first example. So over on the left-hand side, we have a whole bunch of stuff going on. And we recognize that 3x and 6x are like terms. So I'm going to combine those. And then 5 and negative 7 are also like terms. Okay, so 3x plus 6x is 9x. 5 and a negative 7 is a negative 2. And then the 25 stays over here. So then I like it when we show every single step. So when we have a minus 2, we are going to add 2 to each side. This disappears. So we have 9x on the left, 25 and 2 is 27 on the right. Now we will divide both sides by 9 because we have multiplying. So we're left with x on the left, 27 divided by 9 is 3. So we're left with x equals 3. Okay, so now let's look at the second one. We have some multiplication that we have to do. So we're going to bring that 3, we're going to distribute it into that parentheses. So 3 times x is 3x, 3 times 10 is 30. And then I'm just going to copy the rest of the problem. So there's only one term that has an x in it. We can't combine it with anything. 30 plus x is 36, and then we equal 12. So now we're going to subtract the 36 from both sides. This disappears, so we're left with 3x on the left, 12 minus 36. Now let's think about how we move in the negative direction. We're starting at 12, and then we have to subtract 36. So that is a negative 24. So now we have to divide both sides by 3. It's kind of like peeling away an onion, one layer at a time. We just do one thing at a time. We don't want to get in a rush. So the left is x, negative 24 divided by 3. So 24 divided by 3 is 8, but we have one negative sign, so we keep it. So our answer is now negative 8. Now we have a whole bunch of fractions here. And the easiest way to solve this is if we multiply the entire equation by the same number. We can do that. And we can do that using the least common denominator. Okay, so your least common denominator. In this case, it is 18. So we are going to multiply the entire equation by 18. Okay. So if we have 18 times this fraction, we have an 18 and we have a 9. So that means we would multiply, the 9 disappears, we multiply the numerator by 2. So we have 2 times 4p. And we do 18 times this fraction over 3. The 3 cancels and we're left with 6 in the numerator. When, here's a minus sign, we have to make sure we follow that minus sign through. 18 multiplied by a half, we get a 9 in the denominator, or a 9, sorry, wasn't thinking. When we divide by the denominator, we get a 9 times 1. And then when we multiply 18 times this fraction, the 6 cancels out and we're left with a 3. So we have 3 times 11. Now let's just clean this up a little bit here. 2 times 4p is 8p. And we have plus 6p minus 9, and 3 times 11 is 33. Now we're going to combine any like terms on either side. So we have 8p and plus 6p. That's 14p minus 9 equals 33. With each step, it gets simpler and simpler. We're going to add 9 to both sides. So we get 14p equals 42. Now we're going to divide both sides by 14. We get p on the left, and we get 3 on the right. Okay. So now the next three involve variables on both sides of the equal sign. So what we're going to do is we're going to move all the variables to one side and move all the non-variables, the constants, to the other. It really doesn't matter which side you move what to. If I'm like most people, I like to avoid negative signs whenever I can, but it really doesn't matter. Okay, so I have an A on this side and an A on this side. I am going to move all my A's over to the right. So I am going to subtract 2A from both sides. This side just drops off. So I'm left with 3. 3A minus 2A is just 1A. So that was actually pretty simple. A equals 3. Let's look at the next one. 3v minus 8 equals 7 plus 8v. Okay. So how about if I move it over the variable over to the left? Let's be radical here. Okay, so I'm going to subtract 8v from both sides. That falls off. So now I have 3v minus 8v, and that is negative 5v minus 8 equals 7. I'm going to do one thing at a time. We don't want to go too quickly. So now we have a minus 8. So we are going to add 8 to both sides. That falls off. So we're left with minus 5v equals 15. Now we are going to divide by negative 5 to get rid of this negative 5 here. This falls off. So now 15 divided by negative 5. Well, we know 15 divided by 5 is 3, but we have one negative sign. So we are now at negative 3. Right? And then let's do one final example. This one's a little bit more involved. Lots of numbers, lots of terms with constants or with variables. So I'm going to first combine the stuff on each side that I can. So on the left here, I see I have a 2c and a minus 3c. So 2c minus 3c is just c. Actually, it's minus c. And then I have a plus 4. Okay. 2c minus 3c is minus 1c. On this side, I have a negative 9 and a 5. I'm going to combine those. So negative 9 plus 5 is negative 4, and then I have a c. Okay. So I can move, it looks kind of weird. I mean, I have a c and a 4 and a c and a 4 and a bunch of negative signs. Remember, we have to now move the variables to one side and the constants to the other. Okay, let's move our variables over to the right. So here I have a minus c. I'm going to plus c on both sides. This falls off. I'm left with 4 on the left. Here's my minus 4. C plus c is 2c. Excellent. Now I have to move my constant over to the left. I have a minus 4, so I am going to add 4 to both sides. Okay. 4 plus 4 is 8, and then I have 2c on the right. Divide each side by 2. C equals 4. That is how you solve equations with by combining like terms and doing multi-step problems. Not as hard as you think. So just practice, 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 practice.